action. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's blow this town, break the speed of sound. Tonight we own the road. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red light on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red light on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat.
All right, a very good evening to everyone. This is Monday night. This is SimRace South Africa. I am Ryan Hill, and we are back for 2025's racing, first season of the year. Nick, how are you doing?
Very good, Ryan. Hope you're doing well out there and excited to get cracking with 2025. Can you believe it? We are January already. We're kicking off with GT3 tonight, Ryan. We're at Silverstone.
Yes, we are. One of my favorite tracks, actually, and something we're doing for those sharp-eyed drivers who may have looked at the full calendar this season is a little bit of a British GT Championship. All around the UK, tracks that we've got lined up for the next 5 rounds.
Absolutely. So I think we are going to be in for an absolute treat. There's going to be variable weather. It is of course Britain, so you never quite know what you're going to expect. But very much looking forward to what the SimRace SA drivers have for us in store. Of course, this is the Division 1. This is our top division. Ryan, I believe we have 2 or 3 divisions this season so far.
Yeah, it's been a nice bumper season. We're back up to 3 full divisions. In fact, 3 over full divisions of 30 drivers each. Division 3, we've had a few last minute latecomers, but we've been able to accommodate them, so we've just stretched that grid size up to about 35, I think is the number tonight. So yeah, we're pretty much on about 100 drivers across GT3, and a very healthy grid as well for our new season of Super Touring on Race Room. So look out for that next week, Monday. We played you the little promo vid just before we started chatting here. Very much looking forward to that. I think there's about 25 odd drivers signed up for that, so also a nice full grid to look forward to.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Very much keen for to be racing in that. That's definitely going to be my pick for the season. But it's also fantastic to see so many people still absolutely 100% committed to a set of Corsa Competizione.
Absolutely, and it's just nice to do something different. I know some guys, it's obviously exceedingly popular, the GT3, seeing as we have 100 drivers here, but a lot of guys also just looking for something a little bit different. And I'm also a very big fan of just Race Room in general. I still believe that their net code is some of the best out there. It does facilitate a lot of sort of side-by-side action and rubbing as racing, and you don't have to worry about cars sort of ricocheting or pinballing off each other, and you can generally have a really good race. But on for tonight, we are at Silverstone, of course, just bringing the track layout up on screen now. Quite a popular track. I'm sure most of you will have heard some of the big corner names here, like the Hamilton Straight, obviously one of the most recently renamed sections of track. But then you got the famous Maggots Beckett's through just before the Hangar Straight as well. And then you've got the Stowe Vale complex just before that little chicane as well, which is always a little tricky and potentially risky but rewarding overtaking spot as well. But we'll get to a hot lap guide for that in just a second by our friends over at gosetups.gg. Looking at the weather forecast very quickly. So as Nick says, this is Britain. You can expect some rain, but today I think starting out with a nice dry session, even though it is overcast. With quite a bit of cloud cover at about 80%, so I think that is going to bring some slightly lower temperatures. The average ambient temperature across the race weekend simulated has been 20 degrees Celsius, so depending on the time of day, quali I think might be a little warmer, but the race itself, we're starting off at 8 in the morning, so I'm expecting it to be low 20s, and then maybe develop a little bit as the race goes on.
That's pretty much perfect conditions for these drivers. I'm not expecting any blistering or degradation of the tires in a particularly negative way. It's not like it's super hot, so you're going to get the blistering, and it's not crazy cold. So you won't get any other adverse effect from the tires. But should be a really good one. Going to be interesting to see what sort of strategies they have, and I see a lot of the drivers have changed cars for this season as well.
Yeah, I was just got the list of our Division 1 drivers up on screen. Apologies, it might be a little bit small font. I've got all 30 up there. But it's very interesting to see season to season what sort of the meta, so to speak, car is, and it often changes quite a lot. I think last season, what is the most popular car? It's probably between the Ferrari and the McLaren, maybe. But
Those are the two popular ones.
this season definitely still seems the Ferrari is very strong up there. I've seen a lot of people climb into the Honda this season, which I'm very much looking forward to see how that gets on. And then a smattering of BMWs in and around, a couple of Astons in there. I see a couple of Lambos, a couple of Mustangs, and the Porsche. That's got to be Jason Luck. Yes, it is. Jason Luck's his tried and trusted Porsche every season. So yeah, looking forward to seeing how they all get on. In terms of how they did get on in what we call HLQ or Hot Lap qualifying, just bringing the results up on stream now. So there's our top 30. Kieran Patterson topped off the charts of the 157.957. So the only driver to dip below the 158s, but hot on the heels was Sean Schutter and Hannes van Wyk, just nipping at his heels, so to speak.
So it's, I mean, it is interesting. I've been watching some of the chatter on our Discord server, and if you haven't joined, you must jump onto simrace.sa.co.za and you'll find the link for our Discord there. But a lot of the chatter on there is that the Ferrari is incredibly quick as almost a beginner mid-engined car. And that's that's why you're going to see quite a lot of the guys in the Ferrari, because it is so easy in comparison to some of the other mid-engined cars to extract that pace and certainly maintain it through the course of the race. So that's why I'm not too surprised to see lots of Ferraris out there. But I do see two Porsches on track, Ryan.
Oh, it's the second one. Who else is in the Porsche?
Yeah. We've got McCarthy in 12th position currently, just behind Jason Luck, literally a 1/100th of a second separating those two. So track is now at optimum conditions. We have just over 5 minutes left of qualifying, and we're seeing some new faces at the top of the certainly on provisional pole at the moment. We've got Nokia, Pele, not used to seeing those names up at the top, so that's fantastic to see those guys right up there at the moment. But then we do have some regular faces. We've got Boyce, Van Wyk, Leroux. Like, we are very, very used to seeing those guys towards the top of Division 1 in SRSA. And of course, Paul Fenter currently in P9, tackling the Honda this season along with Schutter.
Yes, Paul has ditched his Aston. I think he was a big fan of that in the past few seasons, stitched together. So yeah, he's one of the few guys dropping into the Honda. But I think just as we can see, I'm on live pictures now. We've got about 4.5 minutes left of quali. I want to quickly roll that hot lap guide for you, just so you can get a good idea of what drivers are going to be going through from their perspective. And then we'll hop back for the last couple of minutes of quali and see how things are hotting up. there you go. Super fast lap of the Silverstone racetrack, courtesy of GoSetups.gg. They are partnered now with simracing.gp and have a very tightly integrated system. If you're racing on the simracing.gp platform, you can go and search and look for any kind of setup related to the current track and car of your choice, and it's all sort of integrated seamlessly into the game and loads up very quickly. And I think that supports ACC, AC. I think what I'm going to be listed to, you'll need to double check me on that one, but yeah, ever expanding list of titles. That's a very cool product recently launched. Speaking of simracing.gp, that's obviously our server hosts, and they are proudly brought to us by JooTech Simracing. You can see the logo in the bottom left. Their details are also in the description of our YouTube stream. We thank them very much for being our gold sponsors, for being able to provide us with the racing here tonight. And also just a shout out to ALM Solutions and Ashley Wilson for sponsoring our practice servers that the drivers have been enjoying over the last couple of weeks in their warm-up to tonight's race. We're in the dying minutes of quali, 1 minute 11 left to go, and it looks like Mr. Dean Norkier is topping the list. He is currently on screen on the helicam, of course, in this Ferrari for PWSR Racing. Looks like Kieran Patterson in his Aston Martin is coming up behind him, or about a tenth really.
Him and Mike LaRue are both on exactly the same lap time.
157.572. Yeah.
It is great to see a Ferrari and Aston. Oh, there we go. An Aston jumping up straight to the top. That's Kieran Patterson going from second into provisional pole. But we do have an Aston, Ferrari, Ford, Honda, Nissan. There we go. Check that out. Daniel de Villiers, you absolute legend, bringing the Nissan back, bringing Godzilla back to the track. I tell you what, Jason Holden Jones, our founder, is going to be absolutely thrilled to pieces. I can hear the original SRSA chaps who absolutely adored that car back in their Seto Corsa days. They are cheering you on. I can absolutely guarantee it. That is phenomenal to see that car back on track and doing so well. Mr. Pillay slotting into fourth there. That's a great lap time there.
Just reminds me of Gareth James, if he's still watching the streams. He used to love racing the Nissan in the old GT3 original series. But yeah, there we are. The clock has officially hit 0. Kieran is out there on another lap, and he's taken provisional pole position. I'm just looking at who can challenge him. Dean's already in the pits. It's not going to happen. Mike LaRue is out there and slightly up on his delta. He could challenge Sean Schutter in the Honda as well. Fastest Honda on track so far. But I see he's down on his delta. Yeah, he's pulled off and given up on that attempt. So it's down to Mike LaRue if he can squeeze. He's going to need to improve by quite a margin, actually, 0.28 if he wants to dethrone Kieran. But to gain a couple of positions, it's possible.
So while we wait for the guys to come over the start-finish line and set their final lap times, VenomWorks last year, in fact, had a little bit of a stranglehold on SRSA in Division 1. And if I'm looking at the timing board, at least, it looks like PWSR, Patterson Simworks Racing, has come back in full force and is going to be giving the VenomWorks boys a little bit of a run for their money.
It certainly is nice to see the PWSR boys back in action with us, and certainly bringing it to VenomWorks Racing, who were pretty dominant in the last couple of seasons at SRSA. So yeah, nice to have some rivalries returning and developing here. But there we go. The grid is formed, and Kieran Patterson retains his pole position in the Aston Martin. Lining up alongside him, we're going to have Dean Norkier, second row of the grid, Daniel de Villiers and Sunjin Pillay in his Ferrari. Both him and Dean taking out the Ferraris. Mike LaRue in his Mustang will have to concede for that third row of the grid, Mike LaRue, and lining up next to him, Sean Schutter. We've got about a minute and a half left before the rolling start. Don't go anywhere. We're going to just roll a quick 1 minute ad break, and we'll be right back. We are back live. Drivers are making their final pit stop or pit lane changes to their car setup. So you can see the cars going up and down on the jacks, and rolling start will be happening as we speak. They've got to do a full lap formation start. They'll pull off lined up in double file now, but they're very quickly going to single file. And you may see some drivers weaving around a bit, trying to warm their tires. The best thing they can generally do, if I had to offer some advice, is just hold your brakes, and that'll warm it up perfectly sufficiently. And just
definitely GT3 cars, you've got to be just holding those brakes. But it's interesting to see. I've been scanning some of the drivers' names, and it's just showing how competitive Div 1 at SRSA still is. I mean, we're used to seeing guys like Sean Bingham right at the top of the top of the division, and he's currently in 13th position. And you know, there's drivers all the way up and down this grid who've got some pretty good credentials here, and you know, cracking the top 10 is not an easy thing. Jason Luck, another one we saw last year, being someone who was regularly in the top 10, and really sort of struggling in qualifying tonight. We might see him have a strong race, of course, but yeah, just showing you that the competition is tight here tonight, Ryan.
Yeah, it definitely is, especially with such a full grid, or not really a full grid. We've got across the entire championship, 100 drivers. It's going to mean that there's going to be some close racing up and down the field, which I'm very much looking forward to, and especially with some of the returning drivers, which is really nice to have. Speaking of returning drivers and the PWSR crew especially, I see they have some support in chat, just sounding out. So how's it to everyone supporting our drivers tonight, watching the stream? I really appreciate everyone coming out and saying hi. And also just nice to see some custom liveries on stream. Just admiring the PWSR crew of Alan Patterson's Aston Martin. They've got their typical yellow, white and black sort of fade gradient. Easy to spot, that crew.
Yeah, guys always put a lot of effort into liveries, and it's fantastic to see, because some of these cars really do look absolutely fantastic. And as we go through the race, I'm sure we're going to be pointing a few of them out. Just shows the pride that these drivers take in the machines that they're driving, and what they're doing out on track. A long lap around Silverstone, of course, for the warm-up. You'll see a lot of guys ghosting in and out of each other. Set, of course, the Competizione doesn't mind on the out lap. If you drive through someone, it's all fine. You've just got to keep within that sort of band, if you like, while you're warming up tires and preparing to get going. So what are your predictions for tonight, Ryan, as we just wait for these guys to come around the last few corners?
Sure, that's a really difficult one to judge. I think I'm going to go with a safe bet and say Kieran for the win in his Aston. He's looked pacey all the warm-up in the last couple of weeks throughout HLQ. Consistent fast laps. We know he's a very consistent driver. I think if he can keep his nose clean. He's got Dean Norkier, which is, I do believe, a teammate. Yeah, teammates behind him as well for some safety.
3 of the top 4 are PWSR drivers, in fact, it looks like.
I think, provided he's got his strategy nailed down, which I'm sure he does, having a lot of experience, Kieran Patterson, I think he's going to take the win. I would like to see some of the VenomWorks guys do well. We know Mike Leroux can be quite fast as well with his Mustang. I'm trying to remember if he ran the Mustang immediate last season. I think he did.
About to go green. So we're about to find out, Ryan. We're about to find out. I'm going to throw my lot in with Mr. De Villiers, with Daniel De Villiers. I just want to see that Godzilla car do exceptionally well
on debut.
That's it. Green light. Off we go. Racing. Ooh. Looks like people are trying to file through turn 1 as safely as they possibly can. See a little bit of a bumping and grinding. Oh, there is the contact back towards the mid-pack. Unfortunately, looks like it might have been Alan Patterson in a Aston Martin who got tapped out there, and I see somebody else in the Honda that might be Schutter. No, Schutter's off the track. Sean Schutter is off the track and struggling as well. But Kieran Patterson is absolutely flying away. All three of the top running PWSR guys are home and dry on this lap one, avoiding all of the incidents behind them. It does look like I'm just waiting for this tower to update. It does look like De Villiers.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel De Villiers coming under quite a lot of pressure from Pelé, but managing to gather it up and get going again. Looking to attack Nokia now, and that's why you can see there's a bit of a gap between these
the
sort of top 5, 6 guys.
Yeah, they're breaking away.
And it does look low, though. Like good move. Good move. Just managed to squeak through.
Brody on behind, but that was a clean, fair pass otherwise.
Yeah, and I think Fenta is actually one of the guys who's benefited from the some of the chaos in that sort of lap one, turn one argy-bargy, because he's all the way up to 5th now, and already looking like he might be closing in on Pelé. I mean, look how much extra speed he has over Serodio.
Yeah, definitely already a big gap formed. So he's going off on the charge and needs to take it up to Pelé now so he doesn't run away in that Ferrari.
I tell you what, watching from the helicam right now, of course, I've been doing a lot of race room recently, and race room is insanely strict with track limits. Just watching how compliant ACC is in comparison is hilarious, because you can see the guys every now and again just dipping all 4 wheels off the track, but ACC is kind of okay with that. In certain areas, you've got to learn each track where it's going to be harsh and where it's not. Race room expect lots of people struggling with track limits.
Yeah, it certainly is going to be very interesting. The ACC, for those who don't know, I think they give you 3 strikes before you get some sort of penalty in the form of a drive-through for excessive track cuts. Which is treated slightly different to race room, where if it's a cut, it's an immediate sort of slow down penalty where you need to give back time within a minute, and that time that you have to give back is somewhat relevant or relative rather to the sort of advantage the game is deemed you to have gained.
Tell you what, Alan Patterson in 20th position at the moment is on an absolute charge and in a massive battle with Macau, who is in the Porsche behind him. So these two guys are trying to work their way through the mid-pack at the moment, and it's really interesting to watch because you've got a Ferrari, a Porsche, an Aston, a McLaren, and a Honda kind of all fairly close together, and you're seeing the relative pace differential between these vehicles and where they're strong and where they're a bit weaker. So these guys are sort of concertinaing up towards one another and then back away again as they go through different sections of the track, where of course they are slightly stronger or weaker than one another. So it's quite an interesting battle to be watching at the moment.
Yeah, especially with all wide variety of manufacturers on track. I'm just looking now at Sean Schutter here. In the Honda and P18, it looks like, just on the back of Mark Sutton. He was almost side by side there. Looks like coming through Magnussen Beckett's now onto the hangar straight. A little bit of a clip onto the grass puff of smoke. But yeah, looking for a good exit there because it's a long back straight, and with a little bit of a draft, it can be a passing opportunity just at the final corner there at the end of the straight. And it looks like Schutter is actually tucked in behind Sutton here. Will he go for it up the inside? Nope, back side of that one. Sutton shuts the door.
Yeah, it just made his intentions known there, hoping to unsettle Sutton, but unfazed at the moment, unfazed whatsoever by the Honda pressure.
Just back up at the top end of the field here with the PWSR crew. Have De Villiers in the Nissan on the back of Dean Norkier.
De Villiers having a pretty good lap. He's managed to put a little bit of a gap between himself and Pillay just on this lap, and then all over the back of Norkier now. I mean, it's been so long since we've seen a Nissan on track in the top division. I don't even know, sort of relatively speaking, what kind of top speed advantage or disadvantage that Nissan might have over the Ferrari, Aston, and so on and so forth.
It's difficult to say because historically I associate the Nissan with having insane grunt down the straight kind of thing. But you know, that was AC days, I guess, and almost the older generation, the 2015 model maybe of.
Oh, Patterson got very, very squirrely going through Magus Beckett's Chapel, and you can see the gap now between Norkier and Patterson is really close, and that's why, because he just got quite a bit squirrely, out of control, and now Norkier is all over the back. Oh, and De Villiers almost looks like he's having a look on his teammate as well. These Patterson Works guys are absolutely going at it. I can tell you what, there's no team orders at this stage. And once again, I saw Kieran just running wide there. I wonder if he got a track cut for that. Remember, ACC, while we're talking about track limits, if you do cut the track, it gives you, what's it, Ryan? Three chances?
Three, and then the fourth time it's going to be a drive-through penalty for excessive track cuts.
Yeah, so these guys are going to get sort of 3 sweeties with which to play, and I reckon Kieran would have definitely used one of those up. Talking about the pace of that Nissan, Daniel De Villiers has actually set the fastest lap of the race so far.
That's very encouraging.
Taking that off Kieran, so yeah, that is very encouraging.
Yeah, it's very nice to see this lone Nissan on track doing so well here. And just before this battle, I was having a good look at the battle of the Porsches. It looks like McCarthy again, just having a little look on the back of Luck here. Battle for P9. And they're almost side by side there as well again.
Fantastic to see a little Porsche battle happening here. It's great to see another Porsche on track. We've seen Jason championing this Porsche for so long now. It's fantastic to see somebody else taking up that mantle and giving him some stick for it as well.
Look at this. They're coming up to Cops now. McCarthy is all over the back of Jason Luck. And let's just see how they get on through Magus and Beckett's, and especially onto this hangar straight. I think there's potentially... Ooh, was that contact? Or was that just...
No, not
angle?
quite. Yeah. Very close. Very close.
But now McCarthy's also coming under pressure from Farmer and this Ferrari behind. The big string of cars here actually coming down the hangar straight.
Two Ferraris behind in Farmer and Lario. Oh, is that
that wide?
I think that's Farmer running wide. She'll resist the obvious joke.
What, Jason Farmer doing some farming?
That's the one.
Well, I really like this livery on Jason Farmer. Is that a custom livery? I'm just going to see if I can get a close-up of it as he has a little look on the back of Sean Larriera. Yeah, for Griffin Sim Racing Team 1. Very nice skin indeed. In fact, they must be teammates, Sean Larriera, because they're running the same livery. One's green, one's blue. And
I can assure you that it was not a team order whatsoever. That was Farmer making a mistake.
And this is Dale Price now on Farmer. There's a little bit of contact. That is just after Village there, Wellington Straight. It looks like they'll slip back in order again.
So we've missed an overtake at the front. Daniel De Villiers has got past Norkier. Is that Dean Norkier?
Yeah.
So Daniel's got past Dean, and it has allowed Patterson to... very sideways. That looked very sideways to me in that Nissan, but well gathered up. And Kieran Patterson has been allowed to scamper away. But I tell you what, Pele is all over the back of Nokia now. That's definitely in the slipstream. Going to be looking to possibly have a little dive, or does he think about it? No, leaves it alone for the moment.
Certainly looking very close there. And braking now again. That nice bright white Ferrari on the back.
I quite like that actually. That's a goodie.
There, just in the background, Paul Fenter in his LNR Bananas or Millies, I'm not sure whatever they call that livery. Speed Juice Honda.
Yeah, he's going to be just sitting back there thinking, I hope these guys are going to have a little battle, because I would really like to come and play as well, please, chaps.
Yeah, I've seen Paul Fenter's pit stop strategies in the past. I know he's a big fan of the splash and dash right at the end. You can often see him leading a race for a significant number of laps as a result. It'll be very interesting to see what strategies he goes with here. I haven't seen the Hondas much out in the past few seasons, so I don't really know how they are on tire and fuel usage. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's always been a tricky car, that Honda. It's always seems to end up being the car that bites someone at some point, where you're just on that knife edge the whole time, and if you're not careful, it will literally come back and bite you. Having made that mistake or letting De Villiers through, Nokia is not letting him get away. Oh, Sean Bingham having a move on Serodio down the Wellington. Is that the Wellington Straight?
It's the Hanger Straight at the back there.
Hanger Straight, sorry. Yep, Hanger Straight, and
really wide, but
piling the pressure on at the moment. Sean definitely on a bit of a charge here. You can see the gaggle of cars behind them as well. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, all in a line. So either these guys are just super matched on pace, or possibly Serodio is doesn't quite have the pace over this train. However, you still have to be able to overtake, and so far he's not really put a wheel wrong to give Sean Bingham, who is a wily old campaigner, a sniff at a move here. And we've got 3 Ferraris, 2 Porsches,
trio
and
Ferraris.
then another 2 Ferraris.
Yeah, there's a lot of Ferraris. That the Porsches are kind of the meat in this Ferrari sandwich right now. McCarthy having another look off the back of Jason Luck, but files back in. Oh, he has another look again. So yeah, trying to put some pressure on Luck and sort of unsight him in a way. And getting very close to the back of Boycer there does Luck, but it's just the ebb and flow of the different manufacturer cars here. McCarthy having a little look, slips back in. Just having a look at the top there. Daniel De Villiers has just been let through. In fact, no, what's going on? He's let
Nokia through. They've clearly decided that Nokia is the quicker driver on average.
Yes.
So he's let.
But what I'm confused about is Sunjan Pillay has snuck through. I don't know if that was intended or not, but that seems to be unintended.
I think it was quite simply that, yes, he let him through, but in doing so, the gap was too big. There was no way that Sinjin wasn't going to slip through.
And pounced on that. And as a result, De Villiers has found himself in P4.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why he's done that exactly.
This must be some sort of different strategies the guys are feeling here, and perhaps he felt, as we say, De Villiers sneaking through a good pass on Pelé quite clean in the end there, actually.
Yeah, that was a good move. That was a great move. So in the end, he's not lost too much.
Yeah, very interesting. Must be something strategy related, of course.
Yeah, we'll have to find out after the race why it was done then and there. Speaking of then and there, Sean Bingham is now under a huge amount of pressure from Hardest Boyser. We have sort of broken away from the two battling Porsches as well, very slightly. Although, having said that, actually, suddenly the Porsches come through some corners that they're particularly good at, and they're back on the bandwagon before you know it.
It's a lovely camera angle, just seeing all the cars come down the hangar straight there, and it does really give you a good idea of just how close all these cars actually are. They're not too spread out.
Oh, he's gone for a move. He's gone for a move. Sean Bingham has forced a move up the inside. Oh, he's been tapped. He's been tapped, and that's spun Sean around, and now everybody's going to try and avoid him. That is unfortunate. He's still not managed to get going with so many cars coming through. It's in a horrible place to be stuck.
Good awareness of the surrounding drivers.
Yeah, very, very well done there from Sean in his rejoin. I know just how frustrating that must have been to be just sitting there watching and waiting and hoping for a gap. But he has got going now, but he is way down the field at this stage in 18th.
He exercised some good patience there just to pick the right moment to
Rodeo is now under
180.
huge amount of pressure from McCarthy, who's in that leading Porsche. So this really has concertinaed them up. And Jason Luck behind has got is it Farmer all over the back of him as well. McCarthy going down the inside and making a move stick. That's brilliant, a great overtaking maneuver. Wow, that was a proper pass.
Excellent move there by Fabrice McCarthy. And looking to scamper away now and keep that advantage held. Just fielding a question from the YouTube chat here. Has anyone done a pit stop yet? I see Mike LaRue has done one.
Oh, has he?
Yes.
Oh, yes, he has. Yes.
So he's at the back of the pack right now, having taken that stop. So a very early stop, maybe it was to repair some damage or something, I'm not sure. But the rest of the field have yet to clear their pit stops. It's very early days, of course. The pit window does cover the entire race duration, so this is really up to the drivers when they feel they want to come in.
I tell you what, the sort of inter-team squabbling that was going on between De Villiers and Nokia has allowed Patterson to really scamper away. Paul Fenter, I feel like he's slipped down.
What, currently P6?
I thought he was in 5th.
Yeah, it does seem like he's lost at least one position here. Hardest Boyser.
I think he's lost out to Hardest Boyser slightly here, which is quite unfortunate for Paul. Maybe that's Honda biting a little bit. Jason Luck is tumbling down the timing sheets. Something must have happened.
Side by side with Ruan Heineke at the moment, and Sutton just behind him. In fact, Luck and Heineke are going side by side. He manages to defend that position, but he's under all sorts of pressure from behind as well as in front.
Peeling into the
pits. Yeah.
So I'd say in general these are unplanned stops, certainly from what they would have been thinking about strategy-wise going into the race.
I would say so. It seems very early.
Yeah.
Yeah, so perhaps just mitigating some minor suspension damage or something that he feels is going to be detrimental over the length of the race. Just having a quick look at the
Somebody
back of
else
the
in the
pack here.
pits.
David Farrell is side by side with Mr. Oh, it's Hannes van Wyk making his way through the field. So that's Hannes executing a pass actually on David Farrell.
Both Leroux's have, well, one Leroux's in the pits, the other Leroux has already pitted.
Yes, Mike Leroux's pitted. That's actually very early stops then for both Venomworks cars. Both in the Ford Mustang, of course, so I can see a little bit of scuffing and damage on the front of Van Wyk's Mustang. But he obviously hasn't pitted yet. Van Heineke has pitted.
So as we go into this race, these guys are starting to... Sean Schutter looks like he's in the wars once again. I think him and Farrell have come together. Farrell spinning out once again. But as the race sort of progresses, we are seeing these guys start to form little gaps as they're obviously battling, and that is putting some gaps between them.
Speaking of where there's not a gap, it looks like teammates here, Sebastian Bordigo and Dale Price, both in the McLaren with the almost like the blue and orange Castrol livery on the side there. Neck and neck. Oh, I see a drive-through penalty for Hannes van Wyk.
That's unfortunate, especially as Hannes. We're not used to Hannes being so far down.
I'm just trying to think. Drive-through is most likely for track cuts because speeding the pit lane is a... Oh no, speeding is a stop go 30 versus a drive-through.
Drive-through, I think, is generally track cuts,
Yeah,
and speeding the pit lane is generally stop go 30.
Yeah. Very early to have used up all the sweeties then, Hannes van Wyk.
Good to see Alan Patterson back into 12th position. He was, as from what I saw, involved in some of the argy-bargy in the first in the first lap, and he did qualify in and around 10th, and he's worked his way back up to 12th. So doing quite well, doing nicely, keeping his nose clean now, I would imagine, and just gaining those positions from doing so.
Yep, and he's coming up on the back of those two McLarens for, again, the Garage 59 livery McLarens. Just looking at the front here, Mark Sutton all over the back of Jason Luck. I'll say the front, sorry. The tower just had a blip. It's P14, battle for P13.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty much the closest battle, I reckon, on track at the moment is that battle for P9 at the moment and P13.
Hannes in the pits, just exiting the pits now, clearing his drive through.
So we saw earlier Sorodio getting quite a lot of pressure from the chasing pack, but he seemed to find some pretty good pace now. In that he's sort of fended them off, got a little bit of a gap, not a huge one, but a little bit of a gap, and with a small amount of breathing space, he's probably been able to find some nice rhythm here.
Yeah, looking pretty solid, Serodio. And Project Vapor Ferrari. That's custom livery. You can see his name emblazoned on the side there. Good job. Oh, another drive-through from Mark Sutton. He looks to be clearing it immediately. P17 is going to tumble down the order for that.
Yeah, so I was mentioning how the a lot of these guys seem to be running four wheels off the track in all sorts of places, and talking about the whole race room thing. But it does seem, yeah, possibly guys have been taking a little bit too much advantage of it.
Paul Fenter's in the pits. That looks like one of the first possibly planned pit stops.
We're used to seeing Paul pit very late though, so
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe he's switched his strategy around. Maybe he's decided that that early pit stop and long second stint is the way forward these days.
Yeah, perhaps. I like the team name that Paul Fenter's selected here, Eleanor Cheesy and Whining. Very
That's
creative.
great.
Yeah. Sutton behind. That's interesting. So Sutton's actually come to a stop, but he's got a drive-through reflected. So that's not actually going to clear his drive-through, I don't think. Because I don't think he could do both at the same time.
I don't believe so, no. Ooh, these guys are close. Oh my goodness, Serodio, who's that? Serodio, Farmer, and Price are absolutely three wide here, or trying to be three wide. Farmer going to go through on the inside. Serodio having none of it, trying to run around the outside. Both drivers giving each other space. Fantastic to see, because we now get wheel-to-wheel racing all
Look at
through
Patterson coming
multiple
through.
courses. Whoa,
well.
guys, watch out. Jeepers creepers. That's almost 5 cars trying to fit through one corner. That is going to never work, but too wide. Teammates two abreast. Serodio desperately trying to hang on. Farmer running around the outside once more. Looks like he does slightly have the legs here. Does he? Going on, sweeping through this right-hander into the the left-hander into the right-hander. Yep, and got a good move done there.
Oh,
Fantastic racing from one involved.
Sebastian.
And
side by side with Patterson
like
now to drag.
Patterson's going to have the inside.
Up to Cops, yeah.
Yeah,
Nice
that was always
move.
going to happen. But now he's run wide. I bet you Patterson will have got a cut for that. I reckon Patterson will have got a cut for that, and but he has gained a move out of it. So in terms of using your sweeties up, that's a pretty good use of one. But yeah, Patterson definitely seems to have the legs on these guys.
A great little battle here, essentially for P6, this little pack. Farmer just leading that pack with a little bit of breathing space to Serodio, but not much, and then it's just neck and neck. Patterson looking to come through again on the back of Serodio here. Alan Patterson, of course, dad to Kieran Patterson, who is currently leading the race still with a healthy 5.5 second gap to Dean Naquia. Sort of just clocked out at the front here, really. Price just having a little look there into Brooklands. He's got his teammates sort of hurrying him up as well. Looks like his teammates pulling him to the pits. Sebastian goes in. It's probably the sensible thing to do.
Of quite a good battle here for 19th position. We've got Chris Heineke all over the back of, is it Richard Berra?
Richard Berra, yeah. Although Chris just
Oh.
peels in the pits.
Peels into the pits. I must say, Chris's livery on that Lamborghini is pretty incredible.
That's very epic. Is that a griffin on the side or eagle? GSRT. Very nice custom skin. I see the NAG New Age Gaming livery as well. Oh, it's a phoenix, I think. Very, very nice livery.
Tell you what, Jason just can't seem to get away from a Porsche tonight. We have 3 Porsches. Have we missed that other Porsche?
Oh, we did. Who's in? It's Justin.
In 18.
Yeah, Macau.
Justin and Jason in the Porsches.
I'm thrilled to see more Porsches on track. Back of just Jason Luck's Porsche is looking a little scuffed though. A little secondhand.
I do think he has somewhat been in the wars with such close racing. I think there's been a bump or two here or there.
Just looking at Dale Price on the back of Alan Patterson. Patterson's actually got past Price now, wasn't he? Behind Price?
Yes, he was, and that's fantastic for Alan. He's now up to 8th. That's pretty darn good going.
Yeah, looking very strong here. Alan climbing the ranks, sort of coming up to halfway through the race.
Sean Lario is in the pits. He was all the way up to 10th. I was actually keeping an eye on him because he was closing in on some guys, but he's decided to jump into the pits. Clear strategy call there. Still got our Patterson Works chaps in the first 3 positions, but they are somewhat more spread out.
Yeah, Kieran now with a 6 point. Oh, big slide through.
Yeah.
Goes Kieran Patterson. Wonder if that's the tires, just the first early signs of some wear. But he does well to catch that and just have a nice drift. But
I've definitely seen a few slides from Kieran. I mean, the one good thing is that Aston is pretty easy to control over the limits in comparison to a lot of the other GT3 cars that we have
want
here
to
today.
snap on you and kill you at first notice.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we got a spinner, 26th position. Sean Schutter again. He's really had a tough time in that Honda tonight. I tell you what,
Yeah.
we've seen him put in some epic lap times in the past, and seen him running at the very, very top of Division 1. So I think he probably just hasn't got that Honda quite dialed into his liking. And as I said at the beginning, that Honda will kill you if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think definitely a case of Sean just maybe not being fully used to that Honda just yet. I know, was it last year? I'm just having a look at his records. He raced in the Aston last season. So definitely, yeah, it's a new car for him this season. Still getting to grips with it. This Griffin Sim Racing team, the names aren't new, but the team name is new to me, Griffin Sim Racing, and there seems to be quite a few of them out on track.
Yeah, I don't recognize it. It's great to see a new team forming. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Just looking at the pink and grey Ferrari here of Gerard Pretorius. These guys have done a stellar job with their liveries. It looks really, really tight. The top 14 or so yet to pit. Andres Rodeo leading the pack of guys who have pitted. Oh, you've got a stop go 30 for Muath Musa in the BMW.
That's unfortunate.
It must have been for
That'll be
speeding in
for
the pit
speeding.
lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's cleared his pit stop, and it must have been probably on entry. Just see SDN Pretorius coming in on the YouTube chat, reporting from Division 2, taking an early retirement there. It sounds like his ISP decided to take a nap. Sorry to hear that, SDN.
Unfortunate. Luckily, you get to join us and see what's happening in Division 1. I see Alan Patterson is now in the pits, coming in from eighth position.
Good opportunity to see the PWSR livery up close and personal. All their sponsors as well. Nice to see some of the opposing sister factions. We've got Raceface on there, Sarko. I see some grid livery, callouts, Informatica, simracing.gp logos. Very nice.
What I was having a look at now is Paul Fenter, who has come out of the pits. So he has done his one pit stop. Remember, he's pitted quite early. He has had a reasonably clean race with that Honda. A couple of whoopsies, but not too bad. Not as fraught as Schutter. But Serodio has pitted later than Paul, and Paul was running ahead of him for quite a long time. And Serodio has been involved in a lot of battles, but Serodio has managed to come out ahead. So I think the overcut is probably the way to go here.
It does seem that way so far, for sure.
Kieran Patterson is in the pits. We are literally halfway through the race, so he's gone halfway through.
50 split.
Who's that behind? De Villiers. So Daniel De Villiers in the Nissan, also 50-50 split. I don't know if that is an indication as to whether or not these guys are taking tires, or if they just want to maximize a weight from a weight point of view. And of course, that does save a little bit of tire life. But Dean Nokia is now our de facto leader for the moment.
It'll be interesting to see if he runs a different strategy in the Ferrari. It's very interesting, I guess, as well to see across the PWSR team a wide variety of manufacturers as well. It's almost nice to see, I guess, just see how the different race styles, suits some cars, suit some drivers better, and they prefer them. But it does mean that you can't really share a lot of setup between them. Kieran Patterson coming out of the pits now, just alongside David Farrell, and gets past. This late stage of the pit stops now, halfway through the race, we're probably going to see some blue flag scenarios developing.
Are Pillay and Farrell in the same team?
Pillay, let's see, his team name is reflecting this Alpha 1 Esports. And sorry, who?
And Farrell in 27th. They just look like they have a very, very similar livery.
It does look like they are, both reflecting as the same team name, Alpha 1 Esports. I'm not sure if they... Doesn't look like a custom livery, so to speak, but yeah, certainly looks like they're in the same team. Looking at one of the two Lambos on track, Ulrich de Jager, also for Griffin Sim Racing. So that is a Griffin Quite a Phoenix, as mentioned earlier. Chris Heineke as well in the other Lambo. Definitely a new sort of team branding here out in full force. A lot of Griffins. He's under attack by Bingham behind. Bingham, not sure if he's a privateer this season or not, but just in one of the default Kessel Racing liveries.
So Boyce is just coming out the pits now. And yeah, so he is behind Patterson. Just trying to see how far behind. But it looks like Boyce... hang on. No, sorry. The tower's just taking its sweet time to update. Okay.
The tower's not great in ACC. Hopefully that's one of the things they fix for AC Evo. Better broadcast tool. Most of the field have all done their stops now, barring about 3 drivers, Dean Norkinch and Sunjin Pillay up front.
Pillay's in the pits at the moment.
Ah, okay. Then it's just up to Dean and Justin. Not sure how to pronounce the surname. Michał. And he's being chased hard actually by Daniel De Villiers. This is for position. I saw a little flash of the lights there from De Villiers, a little cheeky. Just let him know I'm here. Bring this Porsche along here. Looks like Daniel's going to go up the inside and slip through in front. Too much drama.
Oh, running quite wide though. Ooh, that's very close to a cut, my friend.
Yeah. Even though technically they're on different race strategies here, because Justin needs to pit, of course. But being on the same lap, you're entitled to race each other.
Yep, absolutely. Just worried about the sweeties that these guys have to use up. Does look like Nokia's going to run long here.
Does look that way.
With 30 minutes left.
Just looking at Bingham again behind Diaga. Tight battle. A little bit further up the road, Jason Farmer is alongside. In fact, just got past, according to the tower, Ruan Haneke.
Yeah.
Has got past, yeah. Got that
Nice
move
little
done.
move, that one.
On the hang straight, yeah.
Looks like there's a fairly good battle here for 14th position. Who is that?
Bingham in the
Diaga
blue.
and Bingham.
Diaga in the red.
Why is Bingham so far down? Why is Patterson so far down?
Yeah, P16. That is strange. Not sure what happened to Alan Patterson.
And I know they've had slightly different pit stop strategies to the rest of the field, but I wouldn't have thought they'd slip down that far. It does look like Diaga and Heineke are running the same livery, so I imagine they are teammates. Chris Heineke, that is.
Yeah. Both in the Lambo, I'm sure they're all part of the Griffin Sim Racing parent team, but I'm sure they're kind of paired up together. Run the same strats, same setups. Trying to look at the gap here Dean has over Kieran. I think it's about just under 40 seconds, 36 maybe, 37 seconds, if I'm looking at this correctly. Let's see.
Well, Sean's great run on Diaga at the moment. I reckon he's going to throw a move up the inside here. He's going to try and go later on the brakes. Should be done and dusted. Is Alan going to try and sneak through? Oh, Sean's got sideways. Manages to hold it. Manages to stick on the inside. This will be the place to be.
Patterson's
and
pushing
Alan
through. Yeah.
Oh,
Lovely
that's
stuff.
close to having a little contact there,
No
but
contact
that was
though.
really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good.
Great racing.
Right, so we're just under 30 minutes left to go. I think this is still about our closest battle on track for sort of 16th. Although it does look like, was this for 17th? Yeah, for 17th. Pretorius, Heineke, and how do you say that? Bordigo? Not sure how you say that.
I'll go with
But
oh, sideways goes McCarthy. I think there's a little bit of contact there from Farmer behind. And McCarthy is recovered back on track now. But that's allowed Rowan Heineke to get through as well. Dean is in the pits as well.
okay, so he's clearly just gotten just over the 30-minute mark, kind of doing a almost 2/3 third type strategy. Going to be very interesting to see where he pops out.
There's a relatively quick stop there, it seemed, from Dean Nokia. I mean, there's still a 45-second gap to Kieran Patterson. If that's correct, surely.
Not.
Surely not. Yeah, that seems ridiculous. I think it's just the tower.
It's the no, it's not.
What?
It's not 45 seconds, but
Yeah,
Nokia is way ahead.
it's a huge gap.
Is it a tires thing? Do you think Nokia's not taken tires and Patterson did take tires?
It's about just under eight seconds. Yeah, now the tower's updated correctly. It seemed like an extremely quick stop for Dean Nokia. And I reckon that's indicative of not taking tires.
Yeah, I reckon he's not taken tires, and I reckon, I reckon he's not taken tires, and Patterson has. Must be. Can be the only thing I can think of.
So it's a bold move, perhaps a risky one, just from Dean in an attempt to take the lead of this race and retain it.
I mean, he certainly got the lead of this race. Let's see if you said what the gap was. 8 seconds.
It's about just under 8 seconds. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have to keep an eye on Nokia and Patterson's times as a reference. I mean, Patterson's already down to 7 seconds. What was Patterson's lap time last time out?
Kieran Patterson's last lap was a 1:57.99. Dean's was quite slow. I think that was just his out lap. Yeah, we'll have to see what lap times he's putting in now. Kieran just gets around a back marker there. Kieran slots in another 157.6 last lap time, which is very close to his best actually, 157.5.
Yeah, which definitely speaks to him having fresh tires.
Yeah.
Gap's now 6.4, so he's really taking huge chunks.
Have a look at Dean. He's rounding the final corners now, pretty much. So it should be a good indication of what lap time he's done, because he's had clear air. And it's going for... Is that across the line? Is that invalid? Time still reflecting
Should still show
236.
you. Should still show you, even if it was invalid.
That's strange. Wait, I'm confusing the Silverstone old versus new, but finish line starts just. He's still going.
That explains it.
Yeah.
Right, Nokia's going to cross the line any minute now, so we'll get to
Yeah.
see there.
Here we go. 159.1. Big
Yo,
difference.
that's a lot slower. So Patterson's going to be all over the back of him in the next couple of
I
laps.
think so. It's not going to take long at all. 2-second lap difference. 2 seconds, yeah. A little bit further down the pack here, P6 under his radio is voice of the company. In the pits goes the final Porsche of Justin McCall. Just seen from Ultimate Boat on chat. Sorry, there's apparently no game audio. That is strange.
Yeah, that is very odd.
Pity if that's not happening. I don't know why. I'll do a quick double check. Should be coming through now. That must have been like that for the entire of the stream. Apologies. Radio side by side of Boysa, there's heavy contact, and Boysa is spat out, spun around.
That's unfortunate.
Didn't quite get enough of that in my own eyeballs to determine who was at fault there. Collecting all the cones was hardest. I'm sure that's going to result in... he's going to struggle with that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's going to be an impending steward's inquiry incoming. Looks like he might even be contemplating retiring the car. No, he's rolling again. It'd be a pity if he did. Up in P6, still a top 10 finish if he carries on. 20 minutes left of this race.
Patterson to Nokia is now down to 4 seconds. So he's gaining, but maybe not quite as quick as he was before. Oh, 16th, 15th, sorry, 17th. Pretorius. Trying to have a go. And not quite happening. And I will tell you what, 15th has spun ahead. That's Diaga, and spun around again. So both these guys are going to get position for free. Diaga's going to go all the way back down to at least 19th. No, another half spin will take him down to probably 21st here. No, he manages to get going, so he'll still be 19th. That's unfortunate and quite costly.
All quite tight here, this battle between McLaren leading it, Ferrari and Porsche.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good little scrap, this one. See the different lines these guys are taking through the different corners. It's quite interesting to follow.
I'm guessing some might be just in direct defense of the car immediately behind, but certainly some very different lines coming out.
Pillay has got past De Villiers. Something has just happened that's put Daniel De Villiers all the way back into 4th position. So Rodeo is up to 5th. Am I seeing that correct?
Yeah, he is looking
Goodness, he's done extremely well there.
very, very strong drive from Andres Rodeo tonight. So contending for one of my favorite liveries of the night. Very sharp there for Project Vapor. Somewhat quiet race Paul Fent has had as well on P6, just quietly sort of up there.
Yeah, De Villiers definitely has the pace on Pillay, but that mistake or whatever happened. Ooh, another mistake from Pillay, and De Villiers shoots through. He's got his teammate to contend with now. That, of course, on a lap down, but that is De Villiers once again back up into 3rd position. Kieran Patterson now 2.7 seconds behind.
Continues to catch here. Dean's last 159.6, Kieran 158.4. So well over a second quicker here per lap Kieran currently is doing. Also a little quick shout out to Richard Berra in position 18 in that Ferrari. I know prior to the season start he was a little worried about having qualified for Division 1 and actually asked to be demoted, but we couldn't execute a swap in time with someone from the Division 2 team. No one wanted to move up to Division 1. And here he is sitting in P18, very respectable. In fact, executing a move on Justin McCall almost here in the Porsche, potentially. Bending.
Some good racing, right?
Yeah,
Goodness me.
defending well against that Lambo of Diaga behind. Certainly holding his own here, Richard. You can have great confidence in yourself. Believe you deserve to be in Div 1.
I'm just showing he's got a bit of racecraft here as well. Ooh, running
There was a
wide.
little mistake there, yeah, and that's going to be quite costly. The few cars will slip through and wide again. I think that's a 3-place drop from just one mistake running wide. But still 15 minutes left in this race. Yeah, a gaggle of cars here in battle for P17, 18. Van Veek coming through as well, side by side with the Lambo of Diaga now. Slips in front.
Listen is now just a second behind Nokia.
Keep a close eye on that. There's another move. Diago trying to have a little bit of a dive. Macau's gone quite wide and is going to have to come back on track and see that position. Was doing quite a bit of farming there. Was that Chris Heineke, I think?
So now Patterson's reeled in Nokia. It's going to be interesting to see how he attempts this. Also be interesting to see if they
Hold position or fight.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We have seen team orders has been a thing in PWSR tonight.
True, early in the race.
Also, there will be a little bit of dirty air coming off that Ferrari, making things slightly difficult for the Aston. Not a huge amount, but still definitely something you'll have to contend with.
Richard Beer slipping through and passing Justin Macau. Little move there, look quite clean. Peru now also looking to get some pressure on Justin Macau. It seems to be not quite struggling in that Porsche, but just getting a little bit ganged up on here in the final 12 minutes.
So now really all over the back of Nokia, just half a second separating these two guys, getting super close in the braking zone. So far though, it doesn't look like there's going to be any team orders here tonight between these two.
Where's Daniel? Daniel De Villiers is in the pits. In the Nissan.
I wonder why he's done that. What's happened?
I don't know.
Has he run out of fuel or something?
That crossed my mind, but that'd be catastrophic error. Maybe there's some
Especially
sort of
considering how well he's done.
yeah, maybe some sort of mechanical issue.
So the gap's still half a second. Yeah, he's not got going again. It can't be. That must be something else.
So there'd be some issue with his wheel or pedals. Had to force a retirement.
Yeah, that really is a shame because I was absolutely loving the fact that we have a Nissan not only back in, but running at the top of the or
Yeah.
towards the top of the
Like
the
a
order.
good
That was
challenge for the win, yeah.
fantastic. Yeah.
So I think just teammates here coming together a little bit of a love tap. Chris Heineke on the back of Diago. Hasn't unsettled the cars. And P17 trying to maybe get a little bit of a bump draft up behind Van Beek ahead.
Yeah, so we're seeing once again that it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. Does have 9 minutes in which to do it, does Kieran Patterson, currently with the fastest lap, and has had it pretty much the whole race. Daniel de Villiers did have it at one stage. Oh, runs so wide. He will have had to back out heavily there to avoid getting a track cut warning. Because that is the one thing in ACC is you can run wide, get a cut, and then back off, and you won't get a cut.
Yeah, you can avoid a penalty if you basically prove that you haven't gained an advantage. Got about 4 or 5 laps to make a move if it's going to happen. Very different lines here between the Aston and the Ferrari.
Yeah, at the moment though, there's just not much room for Patterson to get through.
Pack of cars here for Battle for P8. Looks like McCarthy and the Porsche having a little look there. Black Brass are actually maybe just trying to break a little bit of toe. Sean Larira actually now has a great little dive up the inside. He's going to ramp the curve. That's not actually a great move, and that was a little too ambitious, and he actually yields the position there, just sort of immediately acknowledging fault.
Making a small mistake and falling back slightly on Nokia again, so yeah, very interesting watching these guys.
Carty is now under pressure from Alan Patterson, just following that kerfuffle. So Alan back up to P10 again. I think last time we talked about him in P16. Following the sort of pit stops phase.
Yeah, so Alan may have taken tires. I wonder if he's done the Patterson strategy here, following Kieran or Kieran following him, whichever way around. And obviously he's got lots of pace on his competitors, but you do then have to work your way through.
Yeah.
And as you see, when you come up against a guy like Nokia who's just so fast, it's quite difficult to just simply just pass. Okay, so 5 minutes left, Ryan. 5 minutes left, and we're still seeing Patterson on the back of Nokia.
Yeah, this is neck and neck. Almost don't know which Patterson to look at right now, because Alan Patterson is also looking very racy on the back of Breach McCarthy here. Currently in P10. I think we'll keep our eyes on Kieran and Dean up front.
Yeah, I mean, this is the closest that gap has ever been, I think.
Going down the hangar straight. Pause and even an overlap there.
Yeah, just still not quite able to happen for Patterson. I mean, you can see that Gap's was down literally through the last timing beam to 0.15 of a second.
Very good. They've got some traffic ahead of them, and that may cause some spice.
Yeah, getting well out the way though. Their goodness, did not want to get involved at all in the in the fight for the lead. That's for certain.
Yeah, that was a good job. So yeah, as you say, has zero effect on this battle. But well defended, I must say, from Dean Nokia. They're just going through, you know, Vale Club, just not ceding a position at all, not giving any room. No opportunities for open doors.
I say this has been a bit of a masterclass at this stage from Nokia. Because so far he's not put a wheel wrong.
I was just about to say I couldn't fault anything in this race tonight from him.
Okay, so with 1:22 left, there'll be one lap left for Kieran to try and make some kind of a move here on Nokia.
Last chance as they cross start-finish line for the final lap of the race.
Patterson getting very sideways again. He's pushing so hard.
Must be like it's going to come down to a desperate move from Patterson or a mistake from Nokia if there's going to be a position change. There's no real traffic close enough ahead, I don't think. A little bit in the distance, but...
Oh, look at this. He's close. He's close. He's going for it. This is it. This is the move. Does he get it up the inside? And there's going to be contact. Oh, the teammates collide. Nokia goes round the outside. Patterson's definitely going to give that position back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so no harm, no fouls. Positions are yielded.
He had to go for it.
True.
That was the opportunity. He just couldn't quite get the car slowed down in time. Oh, hang on. That's a mistake from Nokia. That is a mistake from Nokia. But manages to hold on to the car. That is very impressive.
Doesn't try and sneak his nose up the inside. Nokia is going to go around the outside and have the better line through the chicane. Through the tight, left-hander of the loop. Through Aintree. Onto the Wellington straight now. It's quite short. Oakland's Luffield is all that's left, really. But it's not happening here.
Ooh, Patterson trying absolutely everything he possibly can, but it's just not quite happening for him. And that's going to be it. Nokia's going to come home for a fantastic win. This has been a really, really entertaining first race of the season. What a way to start 2025.
Solid stuff there from Dean Nokia for Patterson Simworks. Kieran Patterson started the race at pole position, comes home to take P2 for Patterson Works Sim Racing Alpha. Third place, Stinjan Pillay rounding the final corner now. And,
Yeah, great drive from St. John.
followed by his teammate out of position, but David Farrell. Paul Fenter is going to come home in P4.
Paul. Yep. Great result from Paul. Very quiet race, as you said.
Very quiet race, yeah. And exceptional drive, I think, from this man,
yes.
P5, Andres Rodeo.
Arguably driver of the day, arguably.
Yeah. So win.
And Farmer as well has had a great race. Look at how that's turned out in P6. Fantastic stuff.
Top placed Griffin Sim Racer, I think, as well. Jason Farmer, so yeah, excellent drive there. To see Paul
Bingham finishing just 0.2 behind Price. Goodness me, that is McCarthy as well. Just 0.3 behind Patterson. Geez, like guys, absolutely saving it to the last lap here. Fantastic stuff.
Top 10, all neck and neck here as they file in. McCarthy, Sean Lariro, Ruan Hayeka, Hardest Boyce as well. Pretorius coming around. Sebastian rounds the final corner now for the fellow Garage 59 car. And then we have Hans van Beek, Chris Heineke, and Diaga, Jason Luck, and no, not the first Porsche, that was Fabrice McCarthy, Sean Schutter in the Honda. Just sort of struggled out there, I think, today in the Honda.
Shout out to Daniel De Villiers, who unfortunately didn't finish the race, or finished 2 laps down, but did get the fastest lap of the race, so that's fantastic for him.
Yes. Excuse me, it's certainly very encouraging for him to see that the Nissan can be quite pacey out there, so I'm sure we'll have sorted out whatever issues he had tonight with that early retirement. Just 2 laps down. But yeah, that was round 1. Of tonight's race. Thank you very much for everyone on the YouTube stream for joining, and thank you very much, Nick, for having me in the booth as well. I very much look forward to covering your race next week in the Race Room Super Tours.
Yep, that's going to be fantastic.
Indeed. And yeah, I think let's call it there. I'll play out with our promo vid of that Race Room Super Touring series and then go to our credits. And yeah, thanks very much for joining, and good night, Nick.
Thanks, everyone.
Cool. Ciao, ciao.